Good morning, my dear students. How are you? I hope everyone is good. Now, come to our chapter. Our chapter number 2 is going on, which is Gauss's law and its applications. We discussed about Gauss's law. What is Gauss' law? I again repeat Gauss law. According to Gauss law, the total electric flux passing through a closed surface is equal to the 1 upon epsilon naught times of total charge enclosed by the closed surface. In mathematical form, we can say that phi E is equals to summation q upon epsilon naught. Here phi is the electric flux, summation q is algebraic sum of a charges which is enclosed by closed surface, and epsilon naught permittivity of a vacuum. Okay. Now our next application of Gauss's law is intensity of electric field due to uniformly charged non-conducting infinite sheet. Yesterday we discussed intensity of electric field due to infinite line charge. Today we derive electric field intensity due to uniformly charged non-conducting infinite sheet. Main difference between non-conducting and conducting sheet. Suppose we have a conductor, it means conducting sheet, and we have another sheet which is non-conducting. This is conductor, non-conductor. If we provide charge to this non-conductor sheet, then the charge is only there where it is provided on this sheet. It means if we provide charge on this area, then this charge is only there. Okay, but for a conductor, if we charge provide here, then this charge is distributed uniformly to the surface of this sheet. Okay, this is the main difference between a conducting and a non-conducting sheet. Now, to find the electric field intensity due to uniform charge non-conducting infinite sheet, we consider a part of infinite non-conducting sheet is ABCD, like this. A, B, C, D, which is uniformly charged, then surface charge density is sigma. Uniformly charged, then surface charge density is sigma. And let us assume a point P at perpendicular distance from this sheet. So we consider origin point of this part is O and perpendicular distance is small r, and this point P. Derive electric field intensity at point P. We assume two area elements A1 and A2 on both sides of point O. Suppose one is here and another one is here A2 at same distance from this point, which is small l. Okay, then due to these elements, electric field intensity at point P we consider DE1 and DE2 respectively. For this element, electric field intensity is DE1, which difference towards to AP vector. And for this element, suppose electric field intensity represented by DE2 vector, and which direction is towards to A2P vector. Suppose this angle theta. Then to find the resultant intensity, direction of intensity of electric field at point P, we decompose electric field intensity into components. So for DE1, one component in this direction and another component in this direction, and for DE2, vertical component and this is horizontal component. By these interaction lines, this angle theta and this angle also theta. Okay, we can write components of DE2 and DE1. This is DE1 sin theta, this is DE1 cos theta. For DE2 cos theta and DE2 sin theta. We see that electric field intensity due to area elements E1 and E2 at point P in same in magnitude, because of this distance will be same, and charge on these elements is also same. So we can see that components, vertical components of electric field intensity at point P, which is DE1 sin theta, DE2 sin theta, get cancelled out because of they have same magnitude and opposite direction. But horizontal component DE1 cos theta and DE2 cos theta are added up because of they have same direction and same magnitude. So the resultant direction of electric field at point P in this direction at point P due to whole sheet is perpendicular to this sheet. It means along to OP vector. Okay, now we determine electric field intensity. For this we imagine a Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface can be triangle, cylindrical या spherical. Okay, now let us consider a cylindrical Gaussian surface which have cross section area S and length 2r, like this. Okay, this is cylindrical Gaussian surface, this is imaginary, and cross sectional area of this Gaussian surface is S and length is 2r, and observation point P is placed on this circular area, here point P. Okay, so electric charge enclosed by the surface in this surface is from the formula of surface charge density, sigma is equals to Q upon epsilon naught. From this equation we can write summation Q is equals to sigma into S. Now outgoing flux from Gaussian surface, from a electric flux definition, phi E is equals to closed integral E vector dot ds vector. This is equation number 1. Now this Gaussian surface can be divided into three parts: S1, S2 and S3. S1, in which S1 this circular surface and S2 this circular surface, and S3 is the this cylindrical surface. Okay, direction of area element on this H1 is perpendicular to the this surface, and for S3 also perpendicular to this surface, and S2 like this. We know that direction of electric field at point P is perpendicular to the this sheet. Okay, so we can represent the direction of electric field like this, and for this point like this, and for S3 like this. Okay, now we can easily see that angle between E vector and ds vector for S1 surface is 0, and E vector and ds vector for S2 is also 0. Okay, and for S3 surface, theta angle between ds and E vector is 90 degree. So from this equation we can write for three parts phi E is equals to closed surface integral for S1 E vector dot ds vector plus closed surface integral for S2 E vector dot ds vector for closed surface integral for S3 E vector dot ds vector. If we remove dot product, then E ds cos of theta. Theta is the angle between E vector and ds vector. Here for S1 0 degree, for S2 0 degree, and for S3 90 degree. Then we put the value of theta in this equation. Then we know that cos 0, value of cos 0 is 1 and value of cos 90 is 0. So term first and second are remaining like this. Phi E is equals to 2E closed integral ds. Here by this symmetry, because of distance of this point from this center will be same, then electric field intensity at S1 and S2 is also same. So we twice of this we get a twice time of this equation. Closing value of closed integral ds is equals to s, so phi E is equals to 2E into s. This is equation number 2. Now from Gauss law, net outgoing flux from Gaussian surface phi E is equals to summation q upon epsilon naught. Well, put the value of summation q, then phi E is equals to sigma into s upon epsilon naught. This is equation number 3. Equation 2 and 3 both are represent the value of electric flux. Then from equation 2 and 3, 2 into E into s is equals to 2 into s upon epsilon naught. Value of s cancel out to each other, then E is equals to sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. This is the expression for intensity of electric field due to infinite non-conducting sheet at any point. In vector form, E vector is equals to sigma upon epsilon 2 epsilon naught n cap. Here n cap is the unit vector which direction in perpendicular to the sheet. Okay, here we can easily see that electric field intensity at any point depends upon the surface charge density sigma, but does not depend upon the distance between observation point and sheet, it means r. So we can draw graph between electric field intensity and surface charge density. From this equation we can see that is directly proportional to sigma, and we know that graph of a proportional is a straight line passing through the origin point, and this is graph for E directly proportional to sigma. And graph between a electric field intensity and distance. Which distance? Distance between observation point and sheet. Here we see that electric field intensity does not depend upon R, so the graph is parallel line to this axis. Okay students, next application is intensity of electric field due to uniformly charged conducting infinite sheet or plate. Here we take conducting sheet. In starting we study main difference between conductor and a non-conductor. So for this application, direction of a electric field intensity due to this sheet will be same as direction of electric field intensity due to non-conducting infinite sheet. Okay, if this application comes in the exam, then you will use the same derivation for direction of electric field for this topic. Okay, now after getting direction of electric field intensity due to this point, we find out the electric field intensity. For this, let us consider a part of infinite conducting plate which have surface charge density sigma. Okay, this is the thickness of plate. Okay, now we give some charge to this conducting plate. The charge is distributed uniformly on this both surface like this. Okay, and surface charge density is sigma. Now consider a cylindrical Gaussian surface of cross sectional area S and length R. This is a cylindrical imaginary Gaussian surface which cross sectional area S and length is small r. Observation point P is placed at this circular surface P. On the circular surface S1 of the cylinder, this is S1, outside to the sheet, and circular area S2 is inside this conductor sheet. And for S3, some part of this cylindrical surface S3 is inside the sheet and some part outside the sheet. Okay, now direction for area vector for these parts. For S1, direction for area vector is perpendicular to this surface, for this perpendicular to this surface, and for this perpendicular to this surface. Direction of electric field at point P is perpendicular to the sheet like this, and for this perpendicular to the sheet. Here S2 part is placed inside this sheet, and we know that inside part of this sheet charge will be 0. charge 0, then electric field intensity also 0 for this part. Okay, now electric charge enclosed in this Gaussian surface is summation q is equals to sigma into s. According to Gauss law and definition of electric flux related to this surface is, we can write phi e is equals to closed integral E vector dot ds vector. According to Gauss law, phi e is equals to summation q upon epsilon naught. Put the value of summation q, then phi e is equals to sigma s upon a epsilon naught. Okay. From this equation, we can write for different parts like this: closed integral for s1 E vector dot ds vector plus closed integral for s2 E vector dot ds vector plus closed surface integral for s3 E vector dot ds vector is equals to sigma into s upon epsilon naught. We can see that for surface s1, angle between E vector and ds vector is 0 degree. Angle between E vector and ds vector for s3 is 90 degree, and for circular surface s2, electric field is 0. From this data, we get electric field closed surface s1 eds cos 0 plus 0. For s2, value of electric field is 0, so we put the value of electric field for s2 plus closed surface integral for s3 eds cos 90 is equals to sigma into s upon epsilon naught. We know that value of cos 90 is 0, so this term and this term will becomes 0. So E closed integral for s1 ds is equals to sigma into s upon epsilon naught. We solve sigma closed integral for s1 ds1 is equals to s, so E into s is equals to sigma into s upon epsilon naught. S and s cancel out to each other, so E is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. In vector form, E vector is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught n cap. Here n cap is the unit vector which represents the direction of this electric field, which is perpendicular to sheet. Okay. From this equation, we can see that electric field intensity, it depends upon a surface charge density. Okay, and electric field intensity does not depend on distance between observation point and a sheet. Now we plot a graph between electric field intensity and a surface charge density. According to this equation, E is directly proportional to sigma. So graph for E is directly proportional to sigma as shown as figure. And another graph between electric field intensity and distance. Here we see that electric field intensity does not depend on this distance, so we represent graph a straight line parallel to R. Okay, today we have studied two applications of a Gauss's law. Okay, if you have any doubts, you write your doubts in comment box and remaining applications of a Gauss's law we will study in our next video. Thank you.